Hello, everyone. It's me again, Carlton, and I'm very excited for this session as we have Michael Gibbs, the founder and CEO of SureStep. So he's an experienced senior consultant with a deep knowledge of the business application of GRC, ESG, cloud data, and AI technologies. So he'll be giving his keynote today entitled Digital Transformation is Dead. Welcome to the Age of Trust. Over to you, Mike.
Hey guys, how you doing, everyone? I had a really good presentation. I was going to show you guys all kinds of pretty pictures and everything in it, but unfortunately, we're just going to have to look at my large disembodied head for the next 10 minutes. So I apologize for that. I'll make sure that the deck is available for distribution after the video. But look, we're kind of entering into a pretty new and interesting age right now. If you think about, many, many years ago, people would build something, they'd build a car, they'd build a computer, they'd build a house or whatever. And whatever it was would have a certain amount of intrinsic value as like a real thing, right? So that was great. People sold things, right? And sometimes it would sell services, but ultimately it was things. And generally speaking, the key parts of that gave you market value or gave you brand value was all around the value. How good a thing did you make? How well did you perform a service? Well, that used to be great. It used to be a time when you could say, all right, we were talking about making better products, better services, and so on. And then, over the last, 20 years ago or so, people started talking about this digital transformation thing, which was like, hey, it's not just about having a great product or a great service anymore. Now it's also about, how do we make it, so it's engaging for our clients? How do we engage with our clients? How do we give them a better customer experience? How do we give them something that means more to them, rather than just a widget or a service that they've bought from us once and then forget or throw out or whatever? So that was kind of the next generation. So we've just kind of got to the tail end of this digital transformation. I'm sure most of you have been living in the digital transformation hell of the last 20 years to one extent or another. And, ultimately, like, what comes next, right? So what is the next thing? How do we kind of transform out of digital transformation, and what do we transform into? We're not all just big, beautiful butterflies here going from a larvae to a butterfly. We're businesses, and we need to transform ourselves and get competitive and change how we think about things as we go through the world. So what are we doing next? Well, the next big thing isn't about just client experience. It isn't about whether you have a good widget, or it isn't about having a good service. The next big thing is, like, how many people trust you, right? And we're seeing this every single day now. We're seeing this among so many different areas of business. So, like, think about data breaches, right? Your clients, they give you their customer information. You have to guard it. You have to safeguard it. You've got millions of regulatory laws around the world that you need to keep up with in order to make sure that you're preserving their data and keeping it safe in a certain way. So how do you get clients to trust you, right? How do they trust you with their data, right? And we see this all the time. You can pick up any newspaper and find some data breach that's happened. Some bank has given away its information, it's been breached, it's been phished or whatever. And all of a sudden people are losing millions of dollars. You think about your employees, right? We're all talking about this, talent war, which seems to be a bit of a trite use of the war, world of the word war these days, given what's going on the planet. But, we're in this talent battle to find, good employees and keep them happy. Well, how do you get good employees to stay with you, right? Well, everybody pays, everybody's got benefits, everybody's got all that stuff. But why should that employee trust you? Why would they be proud to work for you, give you their very best effort every single day to make sure that, that they're giving that you're getting the most value out of them as an employee? Why do they trust you? How do you make them trust you? Right? How do you get your investors to trust you? Right? So when you really get back to all of this, and you sit down and you think about it, the next big transformation, people have been talking about brand this and brand that, but really, what is a brand, right? If you think about Apple, right? We all know if we buy an Apple device, it's going to be a high quality device. But why do we know that? Why do we look at that little apple? It's not because it's a fruit with a bite taken out of it on the logo. It's because there's trust built into that brand, and they've earned that trust over the years. Cracking down on poor employment practices in some of their vendors, cracking down on insider fraud, ensuring the quality of the devices is second to none, advertising absolutely every single day that theirs is the most secure and private platform there is for you and your data. So what is Apple really advertising? Well, they're talking about trust, right? So that's where things are going. And Apple was an early adopter in all this, realizing that trust is really a significant part of where and how you're going to move forward as a business. So that's all great. So what does all this mean to us? Well, like I said, at first it was about having a good device. Then it was about having a great user experience. Now it's about ensuring that people trust you. And again, not just to have a high quality thing, but to ensure that, socially, environmentally, and from a privacy standpoint. So if you think about the ESG world right now and the GRC components that going along with that, we're talking about essentially how do you engender that trust and how do you get it? So you have to be able to prove to people that you have a solid plan for like being more than just a simple investor, money starved, crazed, company. You got to be able to prove to your employees and your customers and your investors that not only have a great service and a great device to sell them, but they can trust you and that you're going to take them forward and you're going to be there for them. So it's all about engendering that trust. So great. What does that mean, right? How do you get there? I think one of the great things that's happened over the last bit in this whole evolution towards trust and trust transformation is that there was previously this whole notion that GRC and regulatory technology were all investments that people didn't really want to make, because they're like, oh my goodness, it's going to cost us a lot of money, it doesn't go to the bottom line, and oh my God, it's just a capex. Well, that's not the case anymore. I'm sure a lot of you in the audience are startups. I'm sure a lot of you in the audience are small cap companies that are looking for investors and looking to grow. Well, if I've got one company over here and another company over here, and you're both doing payment processing and you both do it really well, and you got great user experiences and your clients like using your stuff, well, why is an investor going to pick one over the other? Well, like now you're in a position where you can use, your position as a trusted partner, as a trusted company to differentiate yourself from your competitors, differentiate yourself from other job hunters, differentiate, other companies are looking for employees on the market, differentiate yourself from other potential investment targets for these various companies. So that's where trust is coming to now. Trust is now the key differentiator. It's going to be the key differentiator as we go through the next 10 to 15 years, as people start to grow up and we all start to come to grips with the whole mess that's been made of the environment and, and all the COP24 stuff that we're trying to, the Paris Accord and all these other environmental things that companies are trying to meet now. I'm very proud to say that us at SureStep have recently taken the climate pledge as well. So we're on board with that. But again, why would companies trust you? Well, that's where you're going to have to really put in some work and put in some money and time to make it work for you. So you're in a position right now where most of you understand what governance, risk, and compliance is. If you don't, really call me. You need help right now. But fundamentally, you all understand what governance, risk, and compliance is. It's about managing your regulatory obligations. It's about managing your data privacy obligations, about managing compliance and so on. So that's fine. The next step of that now, that's taking care of yourself as a company. How do you take it to that next level and use it to build trust? Well, I tell you what you do. You start putting together ESG programs. You start managing your environmental obligations. You start managing your social obligations. You ensure that your vendor chain is not being, you're not hiring people in dicey places from dicey people to make things for people that might come back to bite you later on. I mean, how many times have we seen in the news, some huge, well-known global, clothing brand, gets caught, operating a factory in some place where the people are terribly mistreated. Your buyers and your clients and your customers aren't going to accept that anymore. That's an unacceptable phase of the next generation of trust. And those are things that you need to manage. So your supply chain is a key part of this. How you manage yourself internally, are you adhering to SOC standards or ISO standards in terms of ensuring that your environmental impact is as low as it can be? Have you taken environmental pledges? Are you careful in your hiring practices to ensure that you're not discriminating against anybody and you're giving an equal opportunity to people, no matter where you are in the world? That's really kind of where we're at, right? So, sorry, what's up, Carlson?
We have like 1 more minute left.
One more minute? Great. So I'm wrapping up. So that's perfect timing. Good stuff. So look, the bottom line is digital transformation is now dead. It's gone. All right. I mean, everybody's doing that stuff. Digital transformation's all over the place. It's all been done. Your next step for your evolution as a company, right? The next step for you in terms of how you want to differentiate yourself and grow as a company is about trust transformation. It's about understanding where your risks are and what your obligations are socially and environmentally from a governance standpoint, and ensuring that you're able to meet those goals for the sake of your customers, your investors, your employees, and your suppliers. So that's what this whole thing, this trust transformation thing is all about. And, feel free to reach out to myself or my people that are here at the show and the event. We'll be happy to help you and walk you through how we can help you move that in that direction. So I hope my disembodied head was all right, and hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for that very insightful keynote, Mike. So following this session will be the fireside chat. to tackle about the step to take and survive and succeed with the digital transformation and RegTech. See you there.
Cheers, gang.